Bridging back across 10 or tens is a really useful strategy to use when we want to subtract a single digit number from another number. So I'm going to show you in this video how to use the bridging strategy. All we're going to need are some counters or glass nuggets or some other similar small items that we can use to make dot patterns for initial support. So before we can use the bridging method to subtract, we need to make sure we know our number bonds for 10. And we need to be able to also decompose single digits. By that I mean we know that 6 can be broken up into a 4 and a 2, or 7 can be broken up into a 5 and a 2, or a 3 and a 4, and so on. But we also need to know that when we have a 2-digit number, so for instance here I've got a 10 and 4 more, so I've got a 14. Get back to 10, I would need to subtract 4. So 14 subtract 4 would get me back to 10. So let me show you an example. We're going to start with 14. So we're going to find 14 and let's subtract 6. So I've got 14 counters and I know straight away if I subtract 4, I would have 10 left. So let's subtract those 4. I'm going to flip them over so we can see those being subtracted. I need to subtract 6 altogether. So I've got 10 left, and if I want to have subtracted 6, I need to take away 2 more from my 10. There we go. Now I've subtracted 6 altogether, and I can see, because I had 10 left, when I took away 2 more, I'm left with 8, because of my number bonds for 10. 10 subtract 2 equals 8. So 14, subtract 6, I can see it leaves 8. I'm going to put these back so we can try a different example. So this time, let's just have 12. So let's try this time 12, and we'll subtract 7. So again, I'm looking at my number, I've got 12, and I can see straight away if I subtract 2 of my counters, I'm going to have 10 left. I can use my number bonds for 10. I've subtracted 2. So I know I need to take away another 5, because 2 and 5 would be 7 altogether. So if I take away another 5, that's quite easy. Take those 5. Now I can see I've got 7. I've subtracted 7. And I've got 5 left. So 12 subtract 7 equals 5. So now we're going to look at using the bridging method without using counters, but this time using a number line. I'm using an empty number line, and my starting number is 13. And because we're subtracting, I'm going to work backwards on this line. So I have 13 and I want to subtract 8. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is subtract 3, because I know 13 subtract 3 would equal 10. And now I'm looking at my 8. I know I've subtracted 3. And I know that 3 plus 5 would be 8. So I need to subtract 5 more. And 10, if I subtract 5, would equal 5. So 13 subtract 8 equals 5. So we can use bridging back across 10 to bridge back across tens as well, multiples of 10. So for a number like 42, if we wanted to subtract 5, again using my number line, I'm going to put 42. And my first step is to go back to the multiple of 10 that came before that. So 40, if I took 2 off of 42, then I would get 40 left. So I've taken away 2, but I really need to take away 5. So I know 2 plus 3. I need to take away another 3. So my next jump is to 3. 40, subtract 3. Well, I can still use my number bonds for 10 because I'm thinking about 10 subtract 3 would be 7, but I'm actually subtracting it from 40. So I know I'm going to have 3 tens left as well. So 42 subtract 5 would equal 37. So now you know how to use a bridging method to subtract. You can practice this with counters, and you can practice also with the number line. And you can apply this to subtracting from other 2-digit numbers such as 72, 93, and also 3 or 4 5-digit numbers, and also decimals.